time for tea.
Yay.
All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about sleep. This is one of those topics that is probably going to be talked about multiple times on here because there are a lot of different aspects to it. There's sleep routines leading up to sleep. There's the real deep science in sleep, which we will not get into today. And then there's different, I would say different categories on people who struggle with sleep. And so those could kind of be broken up.
Yeah, we'll do different.
Yeah.
We'll do different actual videos just on one thing, you know, and then those will come later. But
yeah, we'll go basic today, and then hopefully it's still helpful for some of you. I know that I struggled with sleep for a while, definitely stress induced for me. So I think we'll kind of just dive in there. So you want to start?
Yeah. So obviously we're going to talk about sleep today. Why it's in. We'll go through just some simple things. Why it's important. What problems you can have by not getting enough sleep. And really kind of focus on that for now. So Hannah, you said you had trouble sleeping. What kind of things were keeping you from sleeping, and what like physiological things did you notice that were happening to you when you weren't sleeping a lot?
Yeah, sure. So biggest thing for me is that I always have been able to fall asleep easily. Like the minute my head hits the pillow, Shan will say like he hasn't even finished a sentence and I'm out, right? Like so it's if you want to have conversations with me, it's not going to be when I'm sitting or laying anywhere near bedtime, like really anytime after like 8 p.m. But you know the biggest thing for me was that I would wake up, and once I would wake up, it was that tired and wired. Like I'd be laying there thinking I only have 2 hours left to sleep, and now it's time to get up.
Sorry.
And then you know we'd be thinking, well, you know. I only have 2 hours of sleep, and now I can't stop thinking about all the things I need to get done. So it's kind of this very much like I can't turn my mind off. And so I know for me, when I'm chatting with clients, is it's not enough to say, "Do you sleep well?" Because that is just too blanket. Is it, you know, do you have trouble falling asleep? Do you have trouble staying asleep? Do you is there a constant are you moving constantly through the night? Are you sleeping supposedly 8 hours, but you wake up, you wake up and you feel still really trashed. So kind of digging in deeper there, but that's where I struggled. Mine was the waking up in the middle.
Yeah, and that was mine as well. I, going through perimenopause, that's when my sleep really struggled. And same thing, I'd fall asleep and then I wouldn't stay asleep. I would toss and turn all night long. And earlier in my life, college kind of era is when I really struggled with falling asleep. The people who have all these thoughts running through their head, kind of they lie down and it's then my brain starts to work. So there's all sorts of different types of issues with sleep, and we would work on every single one of those aspects. So why is sleep important? Sleep's important because think about sleep. So this is kind of how I think about it. During this 7 or 8 hours, we're not eating, we're not hunting, we're not, caring for our offspring or our young, really not caring for ourselves. So we're really, and think of survival mode. We're not even protecting ourselves against predators, right? So there's a reason why we need to sleep, because it's really a vulnerable time, going back to when we were hunting and gathering for our food, and it's a really vulnerable time for our offspring and our children that we're not really actively caring for them and protecting ourselves. We're not eating, we're not gathering, we're not hunting. So there's got to be a good reason for it, because otherwise our bodies would not require it if there wasn't a really good reason for it. So lots of studies have been done. People have been put into MRI machines during sleep. There's 2 different sleep patterns. There's non-REM and there's REM. REM is the dream time, and then non-REM is broken up into 4 different categories. There's light sleep and there's very, very deep sleep in the other 2 categories. 1, 2 are very light, 3 and 4 are very deep. So during these deep sleep patterns and REM patterns is when you have these restorative moments. Your brain chemistry actually changes during sleep. So different hormones that you have while you're awake completely change while you're asleep. During the sleep process, there is kind of washing of the cerebral spinal fluid. There's storage of memories. There's actual stimulation of different parts of your body. So the prefrontal cortex, like the kind of, what do you call it, like the mom of your brain, they kind of check out. And so the party happens, you know, in the other parts of the brain, because there's no judge or there's no like prison guard. And so that's when other things happen, like your cardiovascular system is stimulated, your respiratory system is stimulated, other parts of your brain are stimulated. And that's when kind of these dream sequences happen. Memories are stored, memories are dumped. You have recovery in cellular structure, you have recovery in oxidative cells that are like precancerous, or, you know, we get cancer every day. It's your body fights it, you know, every day. We get viruses every day. Your body fights it every day. If you actually do succumb to a virus or a bacterial infection, you know, you're more apt to be attacked by those viruses and, you know, bacterial, you know, infections if you are more tired, because you're not getting that restorative processes that happen during sleep. So not only is it like important, but it's imperative. Nobody can survive on less than the optimum amount of sleep. The optimum amount of sleep is what, 7 to 9 hours? And actually, there have been studies that have shown that anything under 6 hours, your optimal performance, either in the gym, your metabolic processes are decreased by up to 30%.
Oh, wow.
And even they've done studies on men. A lot of studies have been done on men. We're just becoming more, you know, we're doing more studies on women these days.
Sure.
But a lot of studies on men have shown even under 6 hours, their testosterone levels are at the level of men that are 10 years older than them.
Oh, wow.
So they can even age themselves by up to a decade with going on less than 6 hours of sleep on a regular basis.
So all of you men really heard that.
Listen,
like sleep,
yeah,
huge difference. Not just men though. I mean, women too. We have testosterone too.
Women have testosterone too, and if men are affected, then logically women would be affected as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is why we have Nicole on here, because she's brilliant. I honestly didn't know that about your REM cycle. Like, I don't know any of that science behind that. What's cool about that is taking it like Nicole's the brilliant one, and I'm the application person. So taking it more to like, where does this help me, or where does this help my clients? Is the way I've always looked at it is, if that is the only time when everything is basically taking a break, everything is like restructuring, everything is
it's repairing
itself. Like, if you're not getting that sleep night after night after night after night, what do you think is going to happen to your body, right? Do we think that we can continue to get 5-6 hours of sleep, continue to push our bodies as hard as we, even if you say, well, I don't work out. Yeah, but you move, and you think,
you
and
live,
you try work, you live.
Yeah.
And so if we were to give ourselves just a little extra sleep every single night, think how much more productive you would be over time. It's just like any other habit, but if you just kind of step back for just a second and you think, hey, if I were to get 15 more minutes every night, that's almost 2 extra hours of sleep a week, right? That over the next week, over the next, right? So that's almost 8 extra hours of sleep over the course of a month. Then you keep doing that. Guess how much more productive you're going to be. Guess how much you're going to move better, you're going to feel better, you're going to be a nicer person.
Right, you'll be more resilient towards disease and things that are just floating around in the world that you come across every day.
Right.
So, you know, one of the things, we could do like a 4-hour discussion on sleep. So We talked about in our last little tea session about water.
Yeah.
We would do the same thing for sleep, right? Just increase it little by little.
Yeah.
So if you have any interest in helping to improve your sleep, your coach should actually be talking to you about this, on every call that you have with them. And we would get to the root problem of it. What actually is your sleep look like? What is your problem with sleep? And really think about, over the last 50 years, we've decreased how much sleep we're getting, and it's almost like, who's the best worker at the office, who burns the candle at both ends. But what also has been happening to our culture, we're sicker, we have more neurological diseases than ever, Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's, we have more cancer than ever, we have more obesity than ever, and is it related to other things? 100%. But what thing can we control? Sleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we can help a little bit with your sleep, let us know.
Yeah, so I would just say takeaway from today is obviously we're gonna have to do
more
on this. We're gonna talk, in depth about all the different parts of sleep. But just from today alone, hopefully that just helped you to see that is the only time we repair.
Yeah,
the only
it is.
time. I mean, you can go take a nap every day, but it's short and still fine. That's great, but that is the only time we are gonna fully repair. So. Our challenge to you would be just to see if you can add in 10-15 extra minutes every single night. I know for us, we have an alarm at night that says
Yes, me too.
time to start heading to bed and then time to get in bed. And if we can do it for the mornings, alarms for the mornings, we can do alarms for nights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right, that's the tea.